This video is titled Individualized Learning 3. In it we will cover optimal learning strategies and differentiated instruction. Typically, individualized learning takes place in specialized settings. Individual education plans are designed for students with learning disabilities who need individualized attention. The strength-based approach to learning is used to assist gifted and talented students who may also have a learning disability, and a learning environment where they feel safe and accepted is necessary for children who have experienced trauma. In a trauma-sensitive learning environment, the adult is necessarily in charge of setting the tone of the space. It is the adult's demeanor, approach, behaviors, volume, and presence that affect how young people perform in the classroom. When a stable, consistent, and safe environment is created, students are able to enter and remain in the learning mode. While these specialized education plans are aimed at supporting children who have a learning disability, are gifted and talented, or who have experienced trauma, the basic principles are beneficial for all students. Here are 5 common elements of these 3 specialized learning strategies. First, challenging, specialized, and advanced curriculum that is intellectually challenging, connected to interests and talents, and has meaningful performance tasks. Second, targeted remediation where needed, including help with specific subject areas, developing study skills, providing assistive technologies, and coaching. Third, differentiated instruction, allowing the student to explore areas of strengths and interests, presenting new learning in ways that work best for the student, encouraging students to move ahead when appropriate or take additional time as needed, using relevant performance tasks, and allowing for needed breaks and additional time for exams. Fourth, social emotional support where caring adults through love provide a physically safe and predictable learning environment, a psychologically safe environment where students feel safe to engage, ask questions, and seek help. Fifth, a physical learning environment that is resource-rich, free of distractions, and that can be modified to support specific physical or other needs of the student. Each of these 5 elements can be applied by the parent-teacher to their child's learning environment. Remember that only a small percentage of children thrive in a classroom environment where students are grouped within a certain age range to study the same curriculum at the same pace from one grade level to another. Ideally, every child should have an optimal education plan that causes them to thrive academically with their unique mix of strengths, interests, and challenges. What is differentiated instruction? Differentiated instruction is the process of modifying curriculum to meet a student's individual interests, needs, and strengths. It is typically recommended as an alternative for effectively teaching gifted and talented students. However, all students can benefit from this approach. Prioritizing teaching with differentiated instruction for every student can help parent-teachers personalize learning in a way that works best. Why? It provides flexibility in how lesson materials are engaged and flexibility in the pace of learning, allowing for the time needed to master certain subject areas or to move ahead at a faster pace in other subject areas. Differentiated learning can allow extra time for exploring areas of passion and interest, and to work on producing, creating, or performing meaningful performance tasks. The parent-teacher is equipped by God to know their students. Knowing a child individually is essential because it takes more than just following the planned structure of the classroom or curriculum. It takes a level of effective relational engagement with each child to understand their strengths and weaknesses, to curate a differentiated learning path where they can thrive. All students should have the opportunity to develop their unique areas of giftings and talents. Differentiated instruction is based on modification of 4 elements: content, process, product, and learning environment. Content refers to the knowledge, skills, and abilities that students need to learn in order to attain curricular goals. The modification to content is not in the learning goals, but in the methods used to engage the content. Content could be encountered through reading, listening, discussing, watching, or experiencing. Perhaps the prior learning necessary for engaging the content needs to be strengthened. Process refers to how students make sense of the things they are learning, whereby they derive meaningful understandings. Here, students will draw upon the context of prior learning, employ their personal strengths, and progress at their own pace. Some will need support from the parent, teacher, peers, or computer-assisted learning. A student's own questions through inquiry learning can provide valuable context for processing new learning. Product refers to the transfer of learning to authentic assessments, to real-life problems. A student can be allowed to choose a project that is of interest to them, giving the time to apply their learning to the project and present and explain the completed project. Depending on the student, they may need coaching or periodic check-in points to keep on task. Learning environment encompasses how the emotions of a student impacts their ability to learn. Differentiation for the effective means making modifications to the learning environment to meet the emotional needs of a student, allowing the mind and emotions to focus on learning. Most experts today recognize that both nature and nurture are intrinsically involved in who we are and what we become. This is true throughout our life. Both nature, heredity, and nurture, the learning environment, work together in developing the gifts and talents of a child. Therefore, the nurturing quality of the home is foundational. The atmosphere that a father and mother provide together is unique in its application to the development of each child. Oneness with each other and with the Lord is the environment where love, security, and belonging are the relational food that causes a child to grow socially, emotionally, spiritually, and academically. Through creating a conducive learning environment, providing differentiated learning opportunities, promoting their strengths and talents, and assisting where they need help, children can learn in a way that causes them to grow in their unique gifts and talents. Finally, guiding a child in their unique path creates context for learning. The brain needs context to make sense of what is learned, so it does not become another random bit of unattached knowledge, which will eventually be forgotten. Context is relational with a sense of belonging. Through relationships of personally felt, unconditional love, children are internally motivated to explore their God-designed strengths and talents.